We have many honored guests here today, including Governor Gina Raimondo, Senator Jack Reed, Congressman Jim Langevin, Congressman David Cicilline, Mayor Jorge Elorza, Commerce Secretary Stephen Pryor, Chairman of the 195 Commission Robert Davis, and our FHWA partner Carlos Machado, the administrator. I'd also like to welcome Senator Joshua Miller, Senator Samuel Bell, Representative Edith Aiello, Representative Grace Diaz, Representative Gail Golden, and City Council President Sabina Matos. There is one person that I'd like to take the opportunity today to talk about just a bit, who's not with us today. Not physically, but I'm sure she is here in spirit. That person is Michelle Olcoin Pacharik. Michelle passed this week. Michelle's husband reached out to us last week because of her love of this project and her commitment to it over the years. So much so that in her final days, her thoughts were of this bridge. She embodied the spirit and the passion of public advocacy that made this bridge come to exist. Her efforts, like that of many of you here today in the community, through many years of long days and nights, gave her time and talent, as you all have, to create a vision of this iconic structure that's behind us. And this bridge certainly has a story. While today marks the end of its planning and construction chapters, it also marks the beginning of its new chapters. As it functions to provide a connection between the east side and the west side of the river, in a public space that doesn't just bridge the two sides of the river, but a beautiful space that will provide a magnificent view of our beautiful city for countless years, to countless people, a place that will provide a setting for memorable public events and intimate private moments for countless people during what I hope is a long, useful life. For this, we thank Michelle and the many others of you who are the champions of this bridge. You've served the public good well. Our speakers today are going to talk about the role this bridge will play in the lives of those who use it and the life of the city and the state. As an engineer, my job is to talk a little bit about the construction of it. Recently at DOT, we're not building many custom bridges like this one. We're rebuilding bridges for safety and practicality. So this was a project that was both a challenge and an inspiration to our staff. In the 90s, it started as a simple structure that was to be built on the granite piers of an old highway. By the year 2000, the city had adopted an idea put forward by a RISD student to design and build a pedestrian bridge. The city held a design competition for the proposed structure, and after public hearings, starts and stops, feasibility studies, and through the administration of several mayors and several governors, the city chose a design. And what has emerged is the architectural marvel surrounded by parks that we see here today. Because of all the unique architectural elements, such as lighting underneath the rails, the built-in chessboards, the hardwood decks, the decks made of a durable and long-lasting Brazilian wood, decorative planters and special seating areas and terraces, this bridge will both be a means of transportation for pedestrian movement, but also a destination for public enjoyment. The views are spectacular, and we at DOT are sure this bridge will make and hold many memories for decades to come. Building the bridge has provided its challenges and has required the diligence of RIDOT staff. I want to thank our project manager, Peter DeSimone, Ryan Ferguson, our resident engineer, Mike Studley, and the RIDOT construction team, Rodney Cotter, Kevin Coulomb, and Dominic Napolitano. Our consultants, CDR McGuire, and our contractor, who did a great job, Daniel O'Connell and Sons, for bringing this brilliant design concept to a reality. I've spoken of the public champions who created the concept of this bridge. But in 2015, when Governor Raimondo began her administration, this project was still only consistent of an unfinished set of dusty plans and no viable funding to build it. Early on, she articulated for us at DOT her vision of a pivotal role this bridge will play in uniting the Innovation District with the East Side. And it was she who committed the will, and most importantly, the funding, to make this bridge a reality. I am truly honored to have her with us today. Governor?
Isn't it gorgeous? It is gorgeous, and there are so many people to thank. This bridge was first conceived in the mid-90s, and so many people have been working on it for a very long time. Too numerous to name, although I think that's why we have such a big crowd, because so many of you have been involved, advocating for it, designing it, pushing it, making sure it happens. So to each and every one of you who played a role in making this happen, I want to say thank you, because this is a treasure, and we will enjoy it for decades to come. I especially want to thank Director Elorza. He's incredible. He's a man of energy and vision. I think we have more road work and bridge work happening now in the state of Rhode Island than at any time in our state's history. And a lot of that is due to Director Elorza and his leadership. So thank you, Peter, to you and your team and your project managers. I, of course, want to thank the mayor of the capital city, Mayor Elorza. He and I are doing many things together related to infrastructure and economic development. So thank you. Senator Reed, thank you. I think over the years, probably it would take us a long time, Jack, to count up how many millions of dollars you brought from federal money to Rhode Island in infrastructure. So thank you, and keep it coming. And of course, Congressman Cicilline, who was mayor at the time much of the work was done to design and plan for this, and of course his congressman is a continued supporter. Thank you. And Bob Davis, thank you for your leadership at 195. And to the City Council and all of you for being here. This is more than just a bridge. This is, as Director Elorza said, a link between the east side and the west side. It is gorgeous. It's a work of art and design. Rhode Island, Providence is known for gorgeous architecture and design, and this is a display of how great we are. But about a week or two ago, we were right across the street cutting the ribbon on the new Wexford facility, which is has begun already with Johnson & Johnson there, and Brown, and incubator space for startups. We'll soon have a hotel next to that. We have South Street Landing with the nursing center and facilities. This is it. We have begun what will be for generations a real hub of economic activity. Economic activity of high-wage jobs in high-growth industries of today and the future, which will provide economic security for the people of Rhode Island. And this bridge is a piece of that. So it's a piece of a vision that will take Rhode Island into the future, make us a stronger community, and make sure that the people of Rhode Island have high-quality, high-wage jobs for years to come. So I'm thrilled. I'm excited to cut the ribbon to all of you, state, local, federal, in the neighborhood. Thank you. And know that there were some folks here advocating for bike paths. Know that we're not going to stop continuing to invest in infrastructure in all of its kinds. In bike paths, in bridges, in pedestrian walks, in roads, in greenways, in RIPTA, in public transportation. It's core to our community, it's core to our economy, and we're going to keep it going. So thank you all for being here. Pleasure to introduce a man who I've literally known since the day I was born, who I look up to as a model public servant, Senior Senator Jack Reed.
Thank you very much, Governor. It is indeed a pleasure to be with you and all of our colleagues in government to celebrate this extraordinary Providence River Pedestrian Bridge. I'm delighted to be with so many leaders from our community who worked together over many years to make this day a reality. Let me particularly thank the Governor for her leadership. Okay. Mayor Elorza, thank you again for your leadership. Stephen Pryor, Secretary of Commerce, Stephen, thank you. Bob Davis, the Chairman of the I-195 Development District Commission, thank you very, very much. I also want to particularly commend my colleagues in the delegation, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Langevin, but particularly Congressman David Cicilline. Both as a mayor and as a member of the United States Congress, he's been instrumental in getting the resources to this state to do projects just like this. And finally, let me recognize Federal Highway Administrator of the region, Carlos Machado. Thank you, Carlos, for what you do. This is a gorgeous bridge. Custom hardwood decks, steel railing, decorative lighting, distinctive terrace. It will be not only a destination, but a symbol of the creative capital of Rhode Island, and I hope and indeed believe the nation. This celebration is possible because years ago, there was the completion of another project, the relocation of I-195. I was very pleased to help get resources to do that. It's not often you can find land for development in the center of the city like this, and that project freed up 37 acres of vital property that's being used well and wisely today. And when we create access to the riverfront, when we develop prime land downtown, we are encouraging the development of new jobs, new housing, new hotels, all of that. And it's delighted that we're seeing the effects of the 195 relocation today. This bridge, though, is a very important symbol also. It will link the east side of Providence with this new innovation district. It'll spur job creation. It'll bring together partners, both private companies and institutions like Brown and the University of Rhode Island, to transform Providence, to jumpstart investment and job growth, to do all the things we want to do. And we can't stop here. We've got a lot of bridges in the state that need a little more work. And in the last 2 years, the delegation, emphasizing how cooperative the effort has been able to deliver $55 million to replace the Henderson Bridge, $65 million in an INFRA grant to complete reconstruction of the viaduct, $20 million for the repair of Route 37 bridges in Cranston and Warren, $20 million for the reconstruction of the exit ramp to Newport Bridge. That will open up additional space on Aquidneck Island. So it's been a pleasure to work together with my colleagues to help them. But I want to salute the people, particularly the people here on the ground, like the governor and the mayor and Bob David, who made this happen. Thank you very, very much. Now it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Congressman David Cicilline, a leader in the Congress, a great mayor, and a great congressman. Thank you.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with all of you, and I want to acknowledge all of my colleagues in government that have already been recognized, but I also want to recognize other members of the City Council who are here, Councilwoman Ryan and Councilman Correa and Councilman Igliosi, and all of the dignitaries, the governor, and my colleague, Senator Reed, the leader of our delegation, of course, the mayor, Administrator Machado. Thank you to everyone who has been part of this really exciting bridge. But I want to particularly remind people that this project began with a once-in-a-lifetime design competition in the city of Providence. And I know there were a lot of people at the time we announced that, you know, cities like Paris and London did design competitions, but Providence had not done it. And it was a big deal. And we got and there are members of that committee who made the decision. But it was really exciting because people, I think there were a total of 47 designs, really fine proposals that were presented to the city, and it was a really thorough public process. Lots of people cared a lot about this. The winner of that design competition and the architect of this bridge is Michael Duffy, who's here and should be recognized. As Senator Reid said, I'm very proud to be part of a delegation led by our senior senator that understands the value of bringing resources back to Rhode Island, and a state led by an extraordinary governor who makes really good use of the resources we bring to our state, with a director who was receptive to these design ideas. There are a lot of DOT directors around the country who would be like, give me a bridge that's like straight asphalt done. But the director understood that design mattered to the city, that this was a special place in the capital city, connecting to neighborhoods, and important, as the governor said, to the economic development of both of these areas, but an important symbol of how important design is. We just left the exhibition at the Rhode Island School of Design of the Borum Silver, and the role it played in the development and the economy of Rhode Island, and the design that was so central to that. So this is a continuation of a great legacy in our state, a magnificent bridge. It would not have happened without the strong leadership of the governor, the commitment of the mayor, who made this a priority from the very first day, and obviously the incredible advocacy from the community to make this a reality. So congratulations to everyone. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the great leader of our capital city, and someone who has made biking and transportation and connection a central part of his work, Mayor Jorge Elorza.
This is such an amazing day. And I'm sorry, I'm going to do the same thing that all the folks have already done. I know sometimes it gets boring, reciting the same names, but this bridge is truly a testament to partnership and all of the people who played such an important role getting it done. And so, I want to personally thank the governor. Just another notch in the feather. I love all the work that we're doing together. You're leading our state in the right direction. I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you for your leadership. To members of our delegation, Senator Reid and Congressman Cicilline, we appreciate your commitment to our city and the state. It makes us feel so good we have you all advocating for us in Washington. I want to recognize my colleagues in city government, Council President Sabina Matos, and all of the members of the City Council. And I appreciate the partnership and all the hard work that it takes to pull things like this off. Director Alviti, Congressman Cicilline hit the nail on the head. You've always been receptive to new ways of thinking about transportation, and even when it's more difficult, if it's worth it, you're at the table and you help us get it done. We appreciate it. Stephen Pryor, I'll talk about this in just a second, but this truly is a part of the state's and the city's economic development strategy. And it ties in very, very important ways. I'll touch on that in a second. And of course, Administrator Machado, we appreciate the federal government support in this work. I want to thank all of our representatives and senators who are here as well. And we can't do it without you either, and it's a total partnership. But most important of all, of the folks that I want to thank, I want to particularly shout out the Providence Foundation. Now, about 30 years ago, the City of Providence, along with the Providence Foundation, they envisioned a new downtown. They saw that this was a once-in-a-generation opportunity, as a highway was to be relocated, and this linear mile of developable land would be coming in online. The pedestrian bridge was not part of the original idea. About 20 years ago, a RISD student developed the simple idea of this beautiful pedestrian bridge that would come and reimagine the bridge of the past. And so the idea of the Providence River Pedestrian Bridge was born, and it only grew from that point. As Congressman Cicilline mentioned, there were 47 design proposals that were submitted to the city that were truly, truly world-class. Together with the Providence Foundation, the city formed a selection committee that was made up of members from Brown University, RISD, the State Historic Preservation Office, and the American Institute of Architects, and they selected the finalists. Many of them were invited in. Our community was asked to weigh in, and that's how the design was selected. And Michael Guthrie was, of course, the winner. We had galleries in City Hall with an opening gallery night, comment boards, online comment boards, and other events for the selection committee to review and consider every one of the hundreds of comments that were considered. And I wanted to speak about that because, first of all, we can't accomplish anything without the community being engaged. We also know that by engaging the community, the final product is always the strongest. And that's something that is built into one of the values and principles that guides our work in City Hall even today. And this bridge is so important for so many of these different reasons. I remember having a conversation with the developers of the Wexford building, and they told me about 3 years ago that not only were they excited about investing in Providence, but what really tipped the scales and said that yes, the city and the state are moving in the right direction was the fact that this pedestrian bridge was being built and as a way to bring people together. This bridge is also important because symbolically, this was a way for cars to high speed from one part of town to the next. Now, it's not just a way for pedestrians and cyclists to travel down, but it's actually going to be a destination. In a moment in our times where, frankly, it seems like the forces that divide us are as strong as they've been in any of our lifetimes, we need to be that force that brings people together. And infrastructure, and this bridge in particular, is that, surrounded by this beautiful park that will be inaugurated in the next couple of months. So I cannot overestimate or overstate enough why this is significant for our city, and I thank all of you for your role in making this day possible. Last, I want to specifically shout out the Providence Foundation once again, under the very able and visionary leadership of their former executive director, Dan Bowden. They were critical partners in advancing the vision and planning for this space. Thank you, Dan, Providence Foundation, and every single one of you for making this possible. Now it is my pleasure to introduce up to the podium to share a couple of words, the Administrator for the Federal Housing Administration, Carlos Machado.
Well, I feel at home now. I have like a piece of Brazilian wood here. Thank you, Billy. You're welcome. Don't worry about it. My partner, Sandro, will help me to bring additional fun. It's great to be here today. Over 50 years ago, when we built the interstate system, we never met the growth on the metropolitan areas. And we chose at the time the best alliance. And 195 was here, exactly over here. And that was a major event when we opened the interstate system. Along the years, of course, the metropolitan started to grow, and the need of new development. And that's what we decided to realign 195 where it is today. Well, this is the final chapter for us on the realignment of the 195. This beautiful park, this beautiful bridge behind me, is the mitigation measure for the relocation of that bridge. I know that a decade ago, Mayor Cicilline kicked off the waterfront design, asking several teams to put together, and he appointed 11 members. Design selection committee consists of community leaders to pick up the winning concept of the 16 submissions. Today, we are proud to have a ribbon cut of this new Providence River Pedestrian Bridge landmark. Congratulations to all designers, architects, and the right-of engineers. I know I came here several times to visit the construction. I know how difficult it was to put this structure together. Renewing our infrastructure is a huge job, but what a privilege to be part of it. We will keep Rhode Island moving, but we cannot do without you. I want to underscore that drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists' safety is and will always will be the Federal Highway Administration primary goal. I ask all you to drive carefully during the construction season that we're going on right now, specifically through the summer and the vacation season, when the traffic will be increased and tempers get short. Buckle up. Don't drink and drive. And stay off the cell phone while you drive. The most important safety advice on the road today is consistent drivers. Please, drive carefully. Now, I have the pleasure to welcome the Rhode Island Appointment Secretary, Stephen Carter.
Administrator, thank you, and thank you all you've done to make this possible. We know it was a very, very close partnership, and thank you, Administrator Machado. We're so pleased to be here, Governor. Thank you for making this day possible. We are so blessed to finally be at the opening of this bridge, this glorious bridge. John Pierpont Point Morgan, J.P. Morgan, was born in a neighboring state, but he liked to do a little bit of fishing with his buddies in the Narragansett Bay. So we have a little bit of ownership over J.P. Morgan. He said the following thing: wise people bridge the gap by laying out the path by means of which they can get from where they are to where they want to go. You know, this bridge in many ways is going to help us get where we want to go, and the people who blazed the path are here. And you've heard a lot of recognition. Governor, thank you for in every way prioritizing innovation and prioritizing the creation of this Innovation and Design District that's connected by this bridge. Director Alviti, you have really been a splendid partner. You've been our leader in making this happen, and it's not easy in the midst of an entire road work set of projects across our state with all of the blue signage and all of the heartache and all of the incredible progress. You've made this small but absolutely essential project happen. Senator Reid for bringing the resources time and time and time again, and Congressman Cicilline for helping to launch this entire project and then resource it from when you were mayor to when you're congressman and administrator. Once again, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Elorza, we have, I think, the closest relationship of state and city in the nation, and we're making it so. We're making our future possible through this. You know, I think there have been a lot of leaders who have been heralded today, but I think there are still some unheralded. I want to re-emphasize what the mayor said. Mayor Elorza was right in pointing out Dan Bodwin, and I also want to point out Cliff Wood. Dan and Cliff, where are you in this audience of the Providence Foundation? You are this Providence, this innovation, and this project in the 195 district every which way. And also of the Jewelry District Association. I know there are a number of JDA advocates in the room. Sharon Steele and Olin Thompson, where are you? Please raise your hands. Please stand up, as a matter of fact. Please stand firm. You're in front of us, Sharon and Olin. The JDA created something called Building Bridges. They put balloons in the sky to show us the way, quite literally, and in every way through their sweat and their advocacy, they've ensured that we got to this day, so thank you so very much. And it's worth noting that in other ways, J.P. Morgan would be proud that we're getting where we want to go, because under our governor, the trends are going in the right direction. And let me conclude by telling you a few of the ways. First of all, as a state under Governor Raimondo, with all of these partners at the federal, state, and local level, we are making it happen. We hit an all-time high number of jobs recently at 502,200. We led the entire nation in the reduction of unemployment between 2014 and 2018, the biggest drop of unemployment in the entire United States. And now we're at 3.6%, which, you know, it just so happens to be below the national average for unemployment. So we're very proud of where the economy is going under this governor. But I want to note something else about innovation. We are not there yet as to promoting innovation and fostering innovation, but it's worth noting that in recent years, each and every year, we've set a record for the number of businesses incorporated in Rhode Island, the number of small businesses. We hope that will grow and become even more healthy and bigger right here in Rhode Island. In 2015, 7,809 businesses that incorporated and started. 8,034 the following year. 2017, 8,607, and we just pierced the 9,000 new businesses mark in 2018 at 9,219. We're starting up businesses at literally a record rate, and only recently has Wexford opened, and in this 195 district, Bob Davis, as the chairman of the 195 Commission, I hope you're proud and getting ever prouder. You're doing the hard work because the Wexford building is open. River House, the new residences that serve especially the university community, is open. Chestnut Commons with new residences is underway. South Street Landing is open for business. Parcels in 6 and 28, as we call them, in the 195 land are with proposals and projects on the way. And a new hotel is in the process of birthing itself in this 195 district. And under this governor, with all these colleagues, with all these partners, we are just getting started. The chairman of our 195 Commission, Bob Davis, is doing a magnificent job. He's doing it as a volunteer, and it's not easy because there are a lot of competing interests and there are high expectations, but together with Caroline and Amber and our entire 195 staff team and the entire commission, Bob is doing just a splendid job, and I invite you to the microphone, Chairman Bob Davis of the 195 Commission.
Good morning, everyone. I must say it is a humbling experience to follow such a wonderful collection of great and effective leaders. I think I learn every day from virtually all of them about what we need to be doing, and we're pursuing that as vigorously as we can. I also want to echo the wonderful tributes that have been given not only to our leaders, but the citizens of this community who have done so much to advance the development of the 195 district and all the infrastructure that it supports. I also want to recognize in our audience today is my predecessor, Joe Azrak, and I do recall a meeting that Joe and I had with Peter very early on in the process, and we said, we have to have this bridge, and Peter did not flinch, and he has delivered. And thank you very much, Peter. It's much appreciated. I think what I would like to talk about very briefly today is what's going to be at the ends of the park, at the ends of the bridge rather, and that's the parks. We have obviously accomplished the design. Peter and the RIDOT team are executing it, and within 12 months or so it will be fully operational. And that's going to be our responsibility as the designated custodian for those purposes. And we're working very hard on that. I do want to reach out to everyone here today and to mention the fact that we will need financial support in order to accomplish that. So not only do I ask our state and city leaders to help us with that, but our institutions, our businesses, and our private citizens. So thank you all for being here, and I'm going to turn it back to Peter.
Thank you very much, and thank all of you who made this possible. All of our elected officials, the governor, the citizens here, the stakeholders in all of this. So let's stop all the talk and get to the next century of enjoying this and cut the ribbon.